Before I take you into the revelation heaven is releasing today, let me tell you exactly what we're dealing with. Today, we are going to break the emotional cycles that keep stealing your peace. We're going to confront the triggers that drain your strength. We're going to expose how the enemy uses irritation, offense, and provocation to weaken your focus. And we are going to activate the same unshakable peace Jesus carried even in betrayal, lies, humiliation, and moments that would have broken the strongest of believers. Let me start with this. Jesus faced betrayal, lies, and humiliation, yet never reacted with rage. And today, we will uncover how. Because peace wasn't something he tried to keep, it was something he carried. And if he carried it, you can carry it too. But before we go deeper, let me paint a picture for you, because somebody watching this will feel this in their spirit immediately. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something was off? You didn't hear anything. No one said a word. But the tension hit your spirit before the conversation even began. Have you ever woken up on a day where your soul felt heavy for no reason? Where the smallest thing irritated you? Where someone's tone felt like an attack? Where a misunderstanding spiraled into emotional exhaustion? That's not mood. That's not coincidence. That's not just a bad day. That is spiritual pressure. That is warfare targeting your peace. The enemy knows if he cannot break your life, he will try to break your focus. If he cannot stop your destiny, he will try to disturb your stability. If he cannot shut down your purpose, he will try to steal your peace. Because peace is the foundation of spiritual clarity. And listen to me carefully. You're not tired because of what happened. You're drained because of what you kept thinking about. You're not overwhelmed because of the situation. You're overwhelmed because of how the situation pulled your attention away from God. This is why this message is not just a lesson. It is a rescue. It is a recalibration. It is an emotional detox. It is a spiritual reset from the inside out. Today, heaven is giving you the strategy to protect your peace, the wisdom to avoid emotional traps, the strength to break reaction cycles, the maturity to stay calm, and the spiritual authority to walk unbothered. So before we move forward, I need you to hear the full prophetic weight of this moment. You're not watching this by accident. You're not listening by mistake. Your spirit was pulled here because God is about to fortify you with a peace that cannot be provoked, shaken, manipulated, or hijacked. This peace is not a feeling. It is armor. This peace is not weakness. It is warfare. This peace is not quietness. It is divine power under control. Today, God is positioning you to carry the peace of Christ in a way that nothing and no one can disturb. Not the people who misunderstand you, not the situations designed to frustrate you, not the invisible pressure trying to suffocate your spirit, not the conflict around you, not the storm within you. A new dimension of calm is being activated in you. A new stability is forming. A new strength is rising. A new clarity is emerging. And a new version of you is being born. One that is no longer emotionally hijacked by the enemy's traps. If you're ready, if something in your spirit is stirring, if you know this message was sent to realign your soul, type "I carry peace" in the comments. Say it as a declaration. Say it as an activation. Say it as a spiritual announcement to every force that has been fighting you. Because today, your peace becomes your power. And this is only the beginning. Now that your spirit understands the weight of this message, heaven is taking you into the first revelation we must unpack today. Your peace is a form of protection. Let me explain why this is so important. Some of you aren't losing battles because you're weak. You're losing battles because your peace keeps getting hijacked. The enemy knows exactly how to get to you. Not by attacking your finances, not by attacking your health, not by attacking your ministry, but by attacking your reaction. He knows that if he can disturb your peace, he can divide your focus. And once your focus breaks, your decisions get dangerous. Let me show you how spiritual this is. Have you ever noticed that the moment you're praying more, someone tries to irritate you? The moment God gives you clarity, someone pulls you into conflict. The moment you decide to change, someone tests your patience. The moment you feel peace, something small tries to shake you. That's not random. That's strategy. The enemy is studying you. He watches what pushes your buttons. He analyzes what provokes you. He tracks what frustrates you. He assigns people and moments to destabilize you because he knows this truth. When you lose peace, you lose focus. When you lose focus, you lose direction. And when you lose direction, you lose spiritual ground. This is why the word says in Philippians 4-7, the peace of God will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Peace is not a feeling, it is armor. Peace is not calmness, it is a shield. Peace is not softness, it is a fortress. But here's the part most people miss. Peace can only guard you if you stay behind its walls. The enemy provokes you to pull you outside that wall. Because the moment you react, you step into a battlefield God never assigned to you. Let me give you a scenario, because I know someone will relate to this deeply. You're having a peaceful day. Your spirit is calm. Your mind is clear. Then suddenly, a message comes, a tone shifts, a comment feels sharp, someone misunderstands you, and instantly your internal atmosphere flips. In that moment, you have two choices: react in emotion and step out of peace, or stay behind the wall of peace and let God handle what you can't. When you clap back, when you argue, when you let offense take over, when you let irritation speak for you, you're not just defending yourself, you are opening a spiritual gate. But when you stay calm, when you let silence speak, when you let wisdom lead, when you let God be your defender, you are making a loud declaration in the spirit realm. My peace is worth more than this argument. This is one of the most powerful lines you will ever speak over your life. Say it again in your spirit. My peace is worth more than this argument. Because truthfully, the enemy doesn't need a full attack. Sometimes he just needs a reaction. A reaction is a crack. A crack is an entry point. An entry point becomes influence. But today, every entry point closes. Let me speak this prophetically. You will not be emotionally manipulated again. You will not be pulled into unnecessary conflict. You will not waste your energy fighting battles God never assigned. You will not sacrifice your peace on the altar of someone else's dysfunction. Because hear this clearly. When someone tries to provoke you, it was never about them. It was about protecting what God gave you. Your peace is divine property. Your peace holds spiritual jurisdiction. Your peace is evidence of heaven's governance. Your peace is too expensive to give away. So the next time irritation rises, the next time anger knocks, the next time someone tries to push your buttons, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? And if the answer is no, walk away with grace, because your peace is your protection. Right now, if this is hitting your spirit, declare boldly in the comments, I stay behind the walls of peace. Say it and seal it. Because your peace is your shield, your guard, your safety, your clarity. And from today forward, it is protected. Now that heaven has exposed the importance of guarding your peace, we must step into one of the most dangerous emotional weapons the enemy uses against believers: offense. Listen carefully. You're not just dealing with feelings. You're dealing with a spiritual trap. Your original line says it clearly, and we're building on it today. Offense is a trap, not a test. Let me show you how real this is. There's someone watching this right now. You didn't ask for conflict. You didn't start the argument. You didn't throw the first stone. But something was said. Something was misunderstood. Something cut your heart deeper than you expected, and suddenly, peace left the room. You couldn't stop replaying the moment. You kept hearing their tone. You kept feeling the sting. You kept rehearsing what you should have said. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not overreacting. You have been baited. Because hear this by the Spirit. Every offense carries an assignment. Every irritation has an agenda. Every provocation has a spirit behind it. The enemy knows he cannot steal your peace directly. So what does he do? He baits you into giving it away. He uses people's behavior as spiritual fishing hooks, waiting for you to bite, waiting for you to react, waiting for you to internalize the wound. This is why Jesus said in Luke 17, verse 1, "It is impossible that no offenses should come." Offense is guaranteed, but being trapped by offense is optional. Somebody needs to hear this with your whole heart. Being offended is human. Living offended is bondage. Let me give you a real scenario, a competitor-style emotional moment. Imagine this. You're trying to have a peaceful day. Your mind is finally clear. You feel like the weight on your shoulders is lifting. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, a message comes that cuts your spirit. A comment triggers an old wound. A conversation brings back something you thought you healed from. You replay it. Then you replay it again. Then you replay it again. You're washing dishes and replaying it. You're driving and replaying it. You're scrolling your phone and replaying it. You're lying in bed and replaying it. You're even praying and still replaying it. Why? Because offense doesn't stay in your feelings. Offense builds a home in your imagination. It becomes a loop, a cycle, a spiritual echo chamber, a mental cage. And the longer offense stays, the deeper its roots grow. Bitterness, resentment, anger, suspicion, withdrawal, emotional fatigue. Listen to your original line. Offense keeps you replaying the moment, rehearsing the pain, reliving what hurt you. That right there is exactly how spiritual traps work. Offense traps your emotions. Offense drains your clarity. Offense lowers your discernment. Offense shuts down your peace. And the more you think about it, the deeper you sink. That's why your script says, peace can't live where offense still breathes. Because offense is not harmless. Offense is warfare. Let me speak prophetically. Some of you have been praying for clarity, but the spirit of offense has been clouding your vision. Some of you have been asking God for direction, but offense has been disrupting your spiritual perception. Some of you feel stuck, not because you don't love God, not because you lack faith, but because you've been carrying wounds you never released. Here's the truth most believers don't want to admit. Forgiveness isn't about ignoring the hurt. It's about refusing to let the hurt own you. Forgiveness isn't weakness. Forgiveness is spiritual intelligence. Forgiveness is how you untangle your spirit from the trap the enemy set, because offense binds you to the past. Forgiveness unhooks you from the moment. Offense ties you to the person who hurt you. Forgiveness returns your soul to God. Offense suffocates your peace. Forgiveness resurrects it. And hear me with your spirit open wide. You cannot carry offense and carry peace at the same time. One must die for the other to live. Right now, I feel the Spirit of God saying, the trap ends today. You will not live an emotional replay. You will not rehearse pain. You will not relive wounds. You will not be hooked by words. You will not be controlled by moments. You will not be imprisoned by offense. God is breaking the loop. God is breaking the trigger. God is breaking the cycle. So right now, declare boldly in the comments, I refuse the trap. Say it like a decree. Say it like a declaration. Say it like you are slamming a door in the enemy's face. Because after today, you will walk free. You will walk whole. You will walk unbound. You will walk in peace. This trap ends here. We've broken the trap of offense, and now heaven is leading you into one of the deepest dimensions of spiritual maturity. A principle so powerful, it scares the enemy every time you practice it. Stillness is strength, not weakness, not silence, not avoidance, not passiveness, but strength, supernatural strength. And I want to begin with something real, something someone watching this will feel in your chest. Have you ever been in a moment where everything in you wanted to speak out? A moment where your emotions were boiling? A moment where you knew exactly what to say, and your flesh was begging you to say it? You typed the message. You almost hit send. You rehearsed the argument. You imagined the comeback. You drafted the paragraph in your mind. But something deep in your spirit told you, don't respond. That wasn't weakness. That wasn't fear. That wasn't being passive. That was the Spirit of God protecting your destiny. Because your original line says it best. Some battles are meant to be won through restraint, not reaction. Let that sink into your spirit. The world teaches you, clap back, defend yourself. Don't let them talk to you like that. Say what you feel. Prove your point. But the Spirit of God teaches you something far greater. Be still. Exodus 14, verse 14 declares, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Stillness is not silence. Stillness is surrender. Stillness is not quitting. Stillness is giving God the right to take over. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is heavenly warfare. Stillness is not passive. Stillness is prophetic positioning. Let me expose a mystery. When you choose stillness, you are not losing control. You are giving control to God. And that is the most dangerous thing you can do to the enemy. Because hell cannot handle a believer who stays calm. Demons cannot derail a believer who refuses to react. Darkness cannot distract a believer who stands still. When you stay calm, heaven moves. When you stay silent, angels respond. When you stand still, God fights. Your original line says it perfectly. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. When Jesus was attacked, misunderstood, lied about, betrayed, and falsely accused, he didn't raise his voice. He didn't clap back. He didn't explain himself. Because he understood something we must learn today. His silence said more than any argument ever could. Let me say that again for your spirit. Your silence will speak louder than your reaction. Your stillness will say more than your explanation. Some of you are exhausted, not because of spiritual warfare, but because you keep fighting battles you were never meant to fight. You're emotionally tired because you keep reacting. You're spiritually drained because you keep defending yourself. You're mentally overwhelmed because you keep explaining yourself to people who don't even want to understand you. But hear the prophetic instruction of God today. Stop fighting for control so you can start watching me fight for you. Let this truth settle your soul. You don't need to defend yourself. God will. You don't need to explain yourself. God saw everything. You don't need to warn people. God is your vindication. You don't need to fight back. Stillness is your strategy. And let me speak this prophetically. There are battles coming to an end because you will stop reacting. There are storms losing power because you will not panic. There are people losing access because you will not be triggered. There are situations collapsing because you are choosing stillness over self-defense. Right now, if you're ready to step into this dimension of divine calm, I want you to type in the comments, "God fights for me." Declare it with authority. Say it until your atmosphere shifts. Say it until your spirit believes it. Say it until every emotional battle loses power. Because after today, your stillness will not be silence. It will be strategy. Your calm will not be confusion. It will be confirmation. Your restraint will not be weakness. It will be warfare. And heaven will prove You were never fighting alone. We've gone deep into peace. We've exposed offense. We've unlocked the strength of stillness. But now heaven wants to take you into the inner battlefield. Most believers never confront. Peace grows where pride dies. Let me begin with something real, something you may never say out loud, but you've felt it in your chest more times than you can count. Have you ever been angry? Not because of what happened, but because of how it made you look, because it made you feel small, because it made you feel disrespected, because it made you feel ignored? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, they shouldn't have talked to me like that? They owe me respect. They need to understand my point. They're not going to play with me like that. You weren't angry because of the moment. You were angry because your ego was bruised. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Let's be mature. Your original line speaks the truth with brutal clarity. Most anger doesn't come from pain. It comes from pride. But pride doesn't shout. Pride whispers. Pride says, you deserved better. You should have been treated differently. They owe you something. Pride makes everything personal. And when everything becomes personal, peace becomes impossible. Because pride is the greatest enemy of peace. Pride inflates self, and peace requires surrender. James 4, verse 6 reminds us, God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Hear me. God does not resist brokenness. He does not resist struggle. He does not resist confusion. He does not resist weakness. But he does resist pride. Why? Because pride blocks peace. Pride blocks grace. Pride blocks breakthrough. Pride blocks healing. Pride blocks reconciliation. Pride blocks growth. And pride blocks God Himself. Let me show you how real this is. Imagine this. You're having a normal day, and someone says something sharp, too sharp. They cross a line they shouldn't have. They raise their voice. They dismiss your feelings. They throw a low blow. They ignore your effort. They misunderstand your intention. Immediately, your mind shouts, they shouldn't have talked to me like that. That right there, that moment, is the battle between your ego and your peace. When pride dies, peace lives. And this isn't theory. This is spiritual reality. When pride dies, arguments stop mattering. Explanations stop draining you. Being understood stops controlling you. Being respected stops defining you. Winning the moment stops being important. Your identity shifts from ego to spirit. Humility is not weakness. Humility is not low self-esteem. Humility is not letting people walk over you. Humility is not being passive. Humility is thinking more like Christ. Humility is spiritual alignment. Humility is emotional freedom. Humility is peace. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all, because silence is not surrender. It's sovereignty. It says, my peace matters more than my pride. My spirit matters more than my image. My destiny matters more than my ego. Let me speak this prophetically into your heart. Some of what you called anger was actually wounded ego. Some of what you called disrespect was actually pride reacting. Some of what you called frustration was actually God trying to crucify a part of you that was blocking your peace. You prayed for peace, and God answered by killing your pride, because pride cannot enter the places God is taking you. Right now, heaven is doing surgery. God is cutting away the emotional reflexes that sabotage your peace. He is healing the part of you that always needs to be right. He is silencing the voice inside you that demands to be understood. He is breaking the patterns that make you overreact. You are entering a new season, a season where peace becomes your priority and pride loses its power. Right now, make this declaration loudly and boldly. I choose humility. Say it until your chest feels lighter. Say it until your spirit settles. Say it until your ego bows. Say it until peace rises. Because today, your peace is being resurrected, your ego is being dethroned, and your spirit is being reset. A new you is emerging, calm, stable, surrendered, unbothered, unshakable, carrying the peace of Christ. We've confronted pride. And now the Spirit of God is taking you into a revelation that exposes the root of so much emotional chaos in your life. You can't stay angry when your eyes stay on God. Let me make this real, because someone watching this will feel this like a pressure in your chest. Have you ever felt yourself getting angry over something small and you didn't even know why? Have you ever felt irritation rise, frustration boil, your heart beat faster, your mind get cloudy, and your emotions take over? You weren't angry because of the situation. You were angry because your focus shifted. This is exactly what happened to Peter. He did what no human had ever done. He walked on water. Not because he was strong, not because he was perfect, not because he was fearless. He walked on water because his eyes were on Jesus. But the moment he looked at the storm, the moment he paid attention to what was swirling around him, the moment he shifted his focus from God to the chaos, he began to sink. And that's exactly what happens inside your spirit. You don't sink because life got harder. You sink because you looked at the wrong thing. You don't lose peace because the attack grew. You lose peace because your focus drifted. Your original line says it perfectly. Peace fades when attention drifts. Because the moment you stare at what hurt you, you forget who heals you. That is spiritual truth. Isaiah 26, verse 3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you." Peace flows wherever focus goes. If your mind is fixed on what happened, anger grows. If your mind is fixed on who offended you, resentment grows. If your mind is fixed on the problem, fear grows. If your mind is fixed on the storm, stress grows. If your mind is fixed on God, peace grows. Let me give you a real life moment. You wake up feeling calm. You're minding your business. You're trying to have a good day. And suddenly, you see a message you don't like. Someone's tone shifts. A conversation hits a nerve. A memory resurfaces. Something feels off. Instantly, your mind locks onto the wrong thing. Your attention shifts, and your emotions follow. Because you cannot control how people act, but you can control where you look. You can't control how people act, but you can control where you look. This is the heart of emotional maturity. When your eyes stay on God, anger loses its power. Fear cannot dominate. Insecurity cannot rise. Bitterness cannot linger. The storm may roar, but your spirit stays anchored. This is why the Spirit of God is telling you today, when anger rises, don't react, redirect. Redirect your thoughts. Redirect your focus. Redirect your breathing. Redirect your attention back to God. Look at His word. Look at His promises. Look at His faithfulness. Look at His record of carrying you. Look at what He already brought you through. Because when you refocus on Him, your peace becomes untouchable and your spirit becomes unbothered. Let me speak this prophetically. Some of you haven't been losing battles. You've been losing focus. The enemy didn't overpower you. He distracted you. It wasn't the storm that scared you. It was your attention that shifted. But after today, that cycle ends. When your focus stays on Him, your peace becomes untouchable and your spirit unbothered. Right now, in this moment, I want you to break agreement with every distraction and align your spirit with heaven. Declare boldly in the comments, "My eyes are on God." Say it until your thoughts shift. Say it until your emotions calm. Say it until your atmosphere changes. Say it until your anger dissolves. Say it until heaven fills your heart. Because from this day forward, your peace will follow your focus. Your emotions will follow your eyes. Your stability will follow your attention. And your spirit will remain unshaken because your eyes are fixed on Him. We've gone through peace, offense, stillness, pride, and focus. Now, the Spirit of God is about to unlock something that will change the way people see you, the way heaven backs you, and the way hell fears you. Your calm is your witness. Let me start with something very real, because someone watching this will see their own life in this picture. Have you ever had someone push your buttons so intentionally that you knew they wanted a reaction out of you? Have you ever felt a moment where the enemy wanted you to lose control? Where the pressure was building, your heart was racing, your thoughts were spinning, your emotions were rising, and everything inside you wanted to explode, to clap back, to prove a point, to show you're not weak, but instead, you breathed, you paused, you stayed calm, and suddenly, their whole attitude changed. The atmosphere shifted, the attack weakened. Why? Because your calm carries power. Your calm is your witness. Some people think power is loud. Some think authority is aggressive. Some think influence is outspoken. But the kingdom works differently. Sometimes the greatest sermon you will ever preach is not in what you say. It's in what you don't say. Not in how loud you become, but in how peaceful you remain. People expect you to react. People expect you to break down. People expect you to match their hostility. People expect you to lose control. But when you remain calm in chaos, they notice. Because calm in crisis is not natural, it is supernatural. Sometimes the greatest sermon you'll ever preach won't be with words, it'll be with peace. Let me speak to you prophetically. Your calm is a spiritual announcement. It tells the world, I am ruled by God, not by emotion. I am governed by heaven, not by pressure. I am driven by purpose, not by provocation. I am anchored in Christ, not in my reactions. This is why Matthew 5 verse 9 says, Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Peace is not just something you feel. Peace is something that reveals who you belong to. When you walk in a room with calm, you shift the atmosphere. When you respond gently in a heated moment, you disarm the enemy's plan. When you steady your emotions in chaos, you take the spiritual high ground. Your peace speaks louder than your defense ever could. That is prophetic truth, because your calm disarms attacks. Your calm confuses the enemy. Your calm frustrates every manipulator. Your calm shuts down every whisper and every form of gossip. Your calm reveals your true character. Your calm earns you respect without you ever asking for it. Your calm displays your spiritual maturity, and your calm glorifies God. Some people will never believe what you preach, but they will believe what you carry. And what you carry is the peace of Christ. That is your credibility. That is your influence. That is your identity. Your calm is more than emotional control. Your calm is evidence. Evidence that you are God's, evidence that you are maturing, evidence that you are led by the Spirit, evidence that your heart is healed, evidence that your foundation is strong. Right now, heaven is releasing a new level of calm into your life. A calm that cannot be broken by pressure. A calm that cannot be shaken by provocation. A calm that cannot be manipulated by chaos. A calm that cannot be disturbed by people. You will walk into storms differently. You will walk into arguments differently. You will walk into tension differently. You will walk into conflict differently because something in you has shifted. Right now, declare this boldly in the comments. I am a peacemaker. Because when God is speaking, say it as your identity. Your response becomes your key that unlocks your next level. Say it as your spiritual signature. Because after today, your calm will preach louder than your words. Your peace will shine brighter than your reactions. Your stillness will silence more enemies than any argument could, and the world will know you belong to God. Now, as we stand at the end of this message, hear me carefully. This moment is not entertainment. This is not just another video. This is a spiritual assignment, a divine appointment, a mantle God is placing over your life. Because everything we taught today, every revelation about peace, every truth about offense, every principle about stillness, every strategy about focus, it cannot remain knowledge. It must become responsibility. And the first responsibility God gives you right now is this: protect the peace He just imparted. Your peace is your power. Protect it. But hear me, you don't protect peace by sitting quietly. You protect peace by activating it. And activation requires obedience, not silence. Listen carefully. A like is not a button. It is an amen in the digital realm. It is your agreement with the word you just received. When you click like, you are saying, God, I agree. Let this revelation take root in my life. This is not algorithm work. This is alignment work. Sharing this message is not promotion. It is intercession. It makes you a carrier of peace. It turns your social platform into a ministry altar. It transforms you into a messenger God can use. Someone connected to you is drowning in emotional turmoil. Someone needs this word to break a cycle. Someone is one video away from getting their peace back. When you share, you are becoming an extension of heaven's strategy. You're not forwarding a video, you're delivering a solution. Subscription is not about increasing numbers. It's about maintaining spiritual consistency. God cannot shift your emotions. If you only feed your spirit sporadically, when you subscribe, you are telling heaven, keep feeding me, keep training me, keep aligning me, keep maturing me. I won't drift again. Your peace depends on consistent spiritual nourishment. And now I decree over you with apostolic authority. I declare your peace is protected. Your emotions are anchored. Your discernment is sharpened. Your reactions are surrendered. Your soul is stabilized. Your atmosphere is secured. Your identity is sealed. And every assignment of chaos is canceled. You will walk unbothered. You will walk guarded. You will walk empowered. You will walk in the unshakable peace of Jesus Christ. Now, I want you to take a step of faith. Comment the word peace as your declaration. Like this message as your amen. Share it as an act of ministry to someone who needs this word. Subscribe as your commitment to stay spiritually aligned. And let God use you as a carrier of peace to someone else today. Because your peace is not just your blessing, it is your responsibility.